As It Were Productions presents...
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca and Joe. My name is Joe Lynch.
I'm Becca Howard.
And this is the film discussion show for movie lovers by movie lovers, where each week we come up with a theme. We then surprise each other with two films to go over there, watch it on the couch, then come back and discuss each movie and if we made the perfect date night double feature.
Well said. You get better at that every week.
You know, by next week or the week after, hi, everybody, welcome to Couple Old Fashions. Let's just dive in.
Yes.
But yes, we are back from Norway, which was a fantastic trip. The Ramaskrik Film Festival, which you saw some blurbs from last week's episode, a little bit late because we were like, come to the show. And it happened after we actually posted the episode.
We were going to record this episode right before Norway, but then so much had to be done to get ready for the trip that it ended up being, we just got back from Norway. So if we're a little bit woozy, it's because, and day drinking, it's because we're somewhat still on Norway time.
Yes.
So we'll see how this goes.
Well,
it's better than being hungover. I've already had people ask me if that was real.
Oh, that was 100% real. Yes.
Yeah.
Confirmed. We were feeling like shit.
That was the worst idea that you've ever had.
No. I'm going to defend that because I can watch that episode back because we watch our episodes back every night before bed. And the
just love watching myself.
The feeling
That's
that
why
I
have
got,
a mirror on my ceiling.
We do?
No, I was joking. It's a Mae West joke.
I know, but I was like trying to.
Why do you have a mirror on your ceiling? Oh, I like to see how I'm doing.
And that's why I love her.
Mae West is the best.
So, the idea that we had for this week.
So I picked this week's theme. But I was leading up to saying it.
Oh, sorry. I'll put it back.
God, just like a man.
Typical.
Way to, come first. So yes, I picked this week's theme.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Based off of the fact that we were traveling and it was a long way there and a long way back, I thought a fun, broad-minded theme that could, invoke quite a lot of different ideas and suggestions was, now you may do it, a long way back.
What does long way back mean for you? Because it can mean, or should we use that, our movies as a way to determine what long way back means? Because it has, like everything we have, it has multiple meanings.
Yes.
All right, so then I will go. Yeah. All right, so immediately the movie that I thought of when you told me the theme was Walter Hill's 1979 kind of elevated sleazecore classic.
I know what it is.
The Warriors.
Come out to play.
I wish I had the bottles. I can go get a couple bottles for it. I love this movie. I forgot how much I love Walter Hill, and I
love him.
I grew up with 48 Hours being like the apex, and it wasn't until I saw The Warriors. If you know The Warriors, the story behind The Warriors, even the story behind the making of The Warriors. It is a journey film. It is a quest film. It feels almost like Greek Odyssey-esque, and how Walter Hill was able to take those classical tropes and drop them into the thick of late 70s New York City, which was a battleground, or at least that's what the media wanted to tell you. And, for a New Yorker like myself, the idea of going from the Bronx to Coney Island was such a wonderful way, because if you've ever been on the subway, that is a fucking quest. To me, that's like a perfect...
Yeah, party.
It's a perfect party.
Maybe this wasn't as vague and broad spectrum a theme as... long way back, I went quest. And because it is still October, still kind of Halloween, which is always, I always try to think of movies that are fun.
Come September 1st, it's spooky season, so anything applies.
This is one of my favorite movies. Similarly to The Warriors, kind of like a Midnight Madness, taking a beat from an old... period kind of quest, but giving it a modern sensibility. It's 1987. I'm going to butcher the name of the director. Ching Siu Tung.
Okay.
Sorry. that's wrong. A Chinese Ghost Story
Yeah,
is the movie
wow,
I picked.
great choice.
I kept stumbling over it because I kept wanting to say the other
Upon a Time in
Once
China?
Upon a Time in China. Like that's all. It was like the Fitzpervert thing from like Bridget Jones's Diary. I couldn't say the name. I love this film. It's a lot of fun. It's a whole melange of genres.
Wow,
But I
what a
guess if
choice.
you want to sample a log line of one, it is a comedic horror romance
Fantasy.
period fantasy martial arts.
It's a
movie.
bouillabaisse. It's like a big soup of genre.
Yes, I just think it's a perfect one for Halloween. It's a perfect one for a journey. It features a lot of like, you know, a traveling salesman going on what ends up being an emotional journey through the land of the living and the land of the dead. So
You have to do the rest of the episode like this.
yeah.
A Chinese ghost story.
Well, they're only in the land of the dead for a few
For a very,
minutes.
very
so I'll do
short amount
that
of time.
bit like that.
Wow, I haven't seen this movie in maybe 30 years.
Wow, it's great.
I
You
like
should watch it
I'm
more
I'm
often.
so excited.
And then
because-
we shall watch the 2 sequels and just have the best day.
which the box set has just come out. Now, we have The Warriors and A Chinese Ghost Story. What's the order?
That's the thing, is that they're both Midnight Madness, kind of like fun discovery type movies. So I don't know.
All right, can I pitch?
Yeah.
The thing about The Warriors is it starts at night and ends in the morning.
So that's second.
Maybe make that second. Because
Okay.
I love the energy that Chinese Ghost Story has. That might be a great kind of kickoff movie. Get the blood flowing. And then shit gets a little darker, actually literally darker, with The Warriors. And then we can kind of bring it on home to Coney Island. It's going to be fun.
Date day double feature.
A date day double
but
feature.
internally nighttime because of jet lag.
Yes. Well, hold on. Delicious, by the way. Old fashions, of course, as always. Shall we?
To the couch.
To the couch.
And now it's A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca and Joe. This week's episode, A Long Way Back.
And we're back. So, man, that was
great.
A whole lot of energy and excitement and vibes. Both movies have fucking vibes.
Yeah, they're both excellent party films, to be honest. Like, you could kick off any party, especially, I think, this time of the year, like Halloween. I mean, The Warriors is maybe more of an anytime film, but
think
Chinese
about-
Ghost Story is incredibly Halloween perfect.
If you want to talk about seasonal reasons to watch both these movies, both have some of the best costumes. Like the Warriors.
Yes.
Think about how many people have been the Baseball Furies, or even just the
we should do
Warriors
that
themselves.
for
A
Halloween.
little too late.
Speaking of costumes, I'm very, very sorry for what this is. This wasn't great. So Siu Sun. Oh God, I'm terribly sorry as well for like pronunciation throughout this discussion. It's gonna be bad. Her character wears a lot of beautiful flowing like pink robes.
Wait, doesn't she go out by Joey Wang as well?
No.
You sure?
Oh, the actress.
Yeah.
Yes, I was talking about her character,
Oh,
Susan.
got it, okay.
The best I had was a kimono that Joe's mom got me in advance of a summer vacation we all went on together.
I believe it was called a muumuu.
A muumuu, yeah. I was like, oh my God, Joe, your mom literally got me a muumuu. And then I texted her and she was like, every girl needs a good kimono. So apparently
Also, every girl needs a good muumuu.
that's apparently what this is.
It works.
And yeah, it's just, I'm sorry, please, no one take offense.
But all right. So then for the uninitiated, why don't you tell us what it's about?
So Leslie Chung, who had already worked with the producer Siu Hark.
Shui Hawk.
Damn it.
I know. I I've screwed it up a million times. And if you don't know Shui Hak's work, he's a very prolific producer. Also did all of the Once Upon a Time in China movies.
Yes.
Which are, we saw that at the New Beverly, right?
We
The
saw
first
both
two.
of them. Yeah.
So good.
So amazing.
But he worked with, John Woo and Ringo Lam. He was one of the Hong Kong icons in the 80s
Yeah,
and
he was
90s.
part of the whole movement in that when Hong Kong was developing its own cinema. And actually, A Chinese Ghost Story, I don't think was played in mainland China until like 2011 or something
Really?
crazy.
Was it banned?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of Hong Kong and China in
Yeah.
the 1980s, a lot of crazy. But yes, he was an incredibly important figure within that movement of the 80s Hong Kong, kind of defining its own language and cinematic voice. And had worked with Leslie Chung on, I want to say, Better Tomorrow, those movies.
Yep.
All very established voices. In fact, probably the least established voice was the director, who was mostly known as a fight choreographer at this point.
What a perfect, but that's a good producer.
Yeah.
A producer who knows that you get a stunt coordinator who's done with the Swordsman movies.
And was
Obviously-
looking to direct.
Yeah.
So they adapted this story from a Xing Dynasty, I want to say 17th century folkloric tale. Starred Leslie Chung as this traveling debt collector man. And I'll never forget, after the opening kind of Evil Dead demon cam starts.
Oh, yeah.
Where it goes through the forest and you have the couple having sex, and then this demon comes up and just sucks the life out of him, literally.
A lot of demon tongues.
Oh my God, there's so much excellent giant tongue play in this. I love this movie so much. Right after that, when you're kind of what is this, a horror film? What is happening? Right, you just see Leslie Chung with this really catchy theme song that he sang himself.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And he's on this kind of walking journey, living out of a suitcase essentially, and the song
living the
plays,
freelance life.
and Leslie does these amazing pratfalls and silliness.
Very
and
Buster
things.
Keaton-esque.
Very. So it's great to have this kind of immediate it's not a 360, we're getting a 360 of just genre mashup.
It's within the first 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you're right. You get Evil Dead 2-esque horror, you get period drama, you're already dealing with physics redefining wuxia-esque martial arts, and a comedy that I had not I forgot about. I forgot that it was so screwball
funny.
comedy.
Yeah.
It almost you were almost waiting for Jackie Chan to show up, because that was when Jackie was establishing his tone where he can be hardcore action, but also goofiness.
Yes, very goofy.
There's this whole movie I kept thinking graceful goofiness.
So he runs into this warrior who ends up being kind of a red herring, because for a second he follows him into town. He gives him a dumpling, and we get our first instance of great fight choreography, of which this is just barely a tip of the iceberg of what we get treated to.
Would be most American movies' final scene.
I know. Yeah, no. There's so much more to come.
Yeah.
But I always get a little sad when Leslie Chung, or Lin Choi-san, I think is his character's name, gets a dumpling. It looks really yummy, and then he just drops it in the rain.
Oh, I know.
Every time I'm like, no.
When we were watching, we're 10-second rule, dude. 10-second rule. You could totally eat that.
He finally makes it to the town where he needs to collect debt from some restaurateur. There's this festival going on, the Festival of the Hungry Ghosts, and I watched it being I'm a hungry ghost. Anyway, he gets and it becomes a Western.
Yeah.
Because he's the stranger who comes to town, very Western kind of, trope. The rain has made all of the words in his tax book run, all the ink run, so he can't actually see what the guy owes in order to get him to pay him. So he's stuck there. He's penniless. He doesn't have anywhere to stay. And then someone is like, why don't you stay at the Orchid Temple? And when everyone stops, it's in a Western where they stop playing the piano.
Yeah. If there was a record scratch, it would scratch.
Yeah, all the people just go,
Yep.
And even as he leaves to go to the Orchid Temple, he's starting to walk to the temple, and then looks to the people, and they're like,
Yeah, they know. Oh,
And then
you
he
mean
walks
that
back
shot
again?
where like it's he's in the foreground
Yeah.
and the whole town just kind of
Yeah.
no, you're gonna be fine. Go up to the spooky temple.
And he's like, okay. And then he starts walking again, and everyone like starts whispering like, oh, he's fucked. This guy's fucked. And then he looks back, and they're like, it's so funny. So one of the reasons why there is such a bizarre like mishmash of genres in this is because of an actual clash of intentions from the director and the producer. He wanted it to be lean more into the romance, the period drama-ness of it, and it was the director who wanted to do something more horror action oriented,
Which makes kind of sense.
and there's a little bit of that, like, you know, Hooper Spielberg kind of lore about it, like who actually directed the film, because they're both such intensely, like, you know, big parts of it while like working on it together on the set. But I think you can see that there's a clash of genres within like the mashup of the movie, and I think it works really well.
Do you think that if this was an American film, could they get away with that kind of mashing up?
I think so. I think it's a bit,
I just feel like sometimes foreign films to Western audiences, we are accepting more of tonal shifts.
Maybe. I mean, Evil Dead 2, like we referenced at the beginning, is a little bit of a mashup, and that kind of does it really well.
It is, but like Raimi sets the tone up pretty quickly and then never veers too far away from that kind of splat stick tone where there's moments of beautiful romance.
He goes to this temple. There's two warriors having an epic fight.
Just randomly.
Cool. He's so sweet, Leslie, in this movie. He's so cute. And he's just like, no, guys, don't fight. Think about love. The universe is infinite, and love is our greatest weapon. And you're like, no, Leslie. And then
also, shut up. I want to watch them fight.
Yeah.
Let them fight.
And then Chick-Ha is like, dude, like, love, it doesn't mean anything. If you don't get out of here, you'll find out how little love means. I'm paraphrasing. That's essentially the gist. And it sets up the love aspects of the film that we're about to get introduced to. Siu-Sin is a ghost. I think we see her already in the beginning, right? Yeah. So she is basically this spirit that has been chained to this family of ghosts / demons who live at the Orchid Temple. She's been forced into being like playing bait to get warriors tempted by her beauty into the temple so that she can then serve them up on a platter. She has a little anklet with a bell on it, which rings like a dinner bell. Yeah. There's an amazing bit where we see her do that to the warrior who loses to Chick-Ha, and she goes through, we see like the camera goes into his throat.
That was wild.
And like into his body, and we see her eat him from the inside out, and his body just like
folds up.
It folds like paper mache. And it's so cool. And we see her find this warrior after she's already clocked Leslie, and there's a stunning shot of her with her flowing robes and the mist behind her, and she sort of sees him and is like, no, not him, and floats back, and the door is closed behind her.
Like you were talking before about the clash between the filmmakers, all of the use of the smoke and the wind and the flowing robes,
so like gorgeously
all
shot.
Of these tropes that became kind of normal in the wuxia subgenre. That's all Shui Hawk. The relationship that those two have throughout is so pivotal, because if this was just a journey movie, if this was just a point A to point B, you don't really have as strong a relationship as these two have, and it's grounded and it's romantic and you believe it, even when by the third act. It's one of the most bonkers third acts I've ever seen in a movie, but it is so grounded by why do they go to the underworld? He
first encounters her because he hears her playing like a zither, like that like floor guitar thing, and she's on like this floating dock in the middle of this dark nighttime with like little fires all around, and then he just like finds her there and is like, as you do. And I want her vibe so bad. Like, I just want to be the girl that's like on a floating palisade playing my zither with my like flowing like robes and fire. Just
the Santa Monica Pier is not good
enough?
Jeez.
So they meet and their chemistry is immediately fire, and like, so you believe in their romance even though the audience knows way more than Leslie. I mean, Leslie's always on the back foot, let's be honest. Like it takes him forever to catch up to any of the other things. I love that he has all these damsel in distress qualities the entire time. Like he's
kind of Jack Burton-y.
Yeah, he keeps trying to save her. Like they trip over a snake at one point. He's like pulls her closer, like, I'll save you, and then he's a
bumbling fool.
He messes it up so bad. He's like, oh, the snake, oh my god. And she has to save them both, but he's like, I did it. It's so cute. I really love that she's basically solving everything, but he thinks that he's a hero. And to her, he is. So it's, it's lovely. My favorite scene is when we encounter them and she's like, you have to leave, like my family is really strict, and he's like, oh, okay, they must be strict because they're like traditional, not like a family of demons that are going to eat him. And she pushes him into like a water, like a bath. And they first meet, he falls into the water and it's like, I can't swim, oh my god. So we already know that he's like not great at like being in water and holding his breath.
Really good setup.
But she like pushes him in and he keeps like needing to breathe, but she's like trying to make sure that
they have those shots where he's like
because if he goes out of the water he'll breathe, and then the old dame is gonna smell him and then eat him. And know also that Siu Sin has kept him secret from the old dame to eat. I also love how the old dame looks. It's kind of like, there was a movie that came out this year with Dave Franco and Alison Brie called Together. The couple merges into one person, like a male female merged
You're saying
entity.
That the dame
the
looked
old
like her?
Dame looked kind of like a merged male female, kind of like, embodied the feminine and the masculine.
If the director
in
of
one.
Together was like, oh, actually the inspiration was Chinese ghost story,
kind of reminded me of it. The best, most badass part, she manages to save him by like she kisses their first kiss.
That was great.
She like breathes oxygen in like a crazy amount into his lungs so that he can survive underwater for like a minute or something, for the old dame to finish all of her annoying monologuing and finally leave them alone.
But that's what makes it work, is that they need each other.
Yeah, the Taoist way. Yeah. He has it so good. I did not know the movie needed that musical number, but it did.
This movie is the equivalent of Stefan.
Yes,
this
another genre.
Has everything.
It's a musical too. He finally convinces Leslie that she's dead by taking him to her grave.
Yeah.
And he's like,
really dark shit.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't believe, like, why wouldn't she like tell me? How didn't I know? And he's like, well, she was probably using you. He's like, I thought I was too useless to be used by anybody. It's so cute. Chitka is very cynical. Like he basically says that he's no longer wants to be a human because the nuances of like human lies are so difficult to tell apart, whereas the nuances between what is human and ghost, he thinks at this point, aren't so difficult to tell apart. In a strange reversal of roles, takes Lin Choi-san back to the Orchid Temple to become bait for her, because she's normally bait for the other people, and teaches him this "Poye polemi," this great little line like from the Buddhist way of protecting yourself.
The wuxia subgenre, which literally means martial arts and chivalry, this fits into every box of what that subgenre was at the time. What's interesting is that when I was watching it, I'm going, oh my God, John Carpenter had to have watched this for Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
But this came out after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is, but it's the movies that came before Chinese Ghost. Chinese Ghost Story was a movie that really broke out into the mainstream, at least here. That last 20 minutes, you want killer tongues? Check. You want a wall of like zombie arms? Done. The martial arts, like you were saying before, that first fight, that is 10% of what you get at the end of the movie.
She asks him to save her by like digging up her ashes and bones at her grave and returning it to the village so that she can finally rest in peace. Yeah, what's more romantic than digging up your lover's ashes and bones so that she can finally rest peacefully in her afterlife? The old dame figures out that she's trying to escape, so commences this crazy fight sequence. That's
like
an amazing
pre-tentacle porn, tongue porn.
There's even a great line where Leslie's like, her tongue's bigger than yours, and I was like, it's not the size of the tongue that matters. It's her betrothed that she's been forced into marriage to, the
Yeah.
king of the Dark Mountain, or the Black Mountain, the Lord of the Black Mountain. He grabs her and pulls her into the underworld. And so they have to like journey into the underworld. And that's kind of why I love this movie, because it starts out with the long way back is what you think is like his journey just to try and get money to make his long way back home. And then it kind of first of all becomes the long way back that he has to take in order to bring Siu Sin, a captivating captive of the underworld, and he has to bring her back so that she can it's kind of a pervy like way of doing it, because he's like, oh, once she's reborn, like properly at rest, she can be reborn, and then I can, like, in 20 years time, you know,
The journey begins.
The journey begins again. And then the third journey that he actually, long way back, that he actually, the movie becomes about, is when he befriends Chika and takes him from his like bitter, like hates dead people, but doesn't want to live in the land of
living as well. He kind of hates everybody.
Yeah, he basically has become this recluse where he's like in the land of the dead most of the time, but like killing them all. He's all bitter and stuff, and he reminds him that it's not actually about whether you're a ghost or a human or whatever. The innate goodness of love over like, and good over evil, which he even said at one point, good always triumphs over evil. That's endemic in actions and the way that we are. It's not like, you know, whether or not we're dead or alive or what have you. It's not that binary kind of way that he's been looking at the world. It's more nuanced than that. And so he makes him realize that he's, you know, got stuff to live for, and decides to help him bury the ashes and save her, save the ghost, and in doing so save himself. So yeah, that's why I kind of love it as a long way back theme, because it becomes several layers of bringing someone back from the dead, both literally speaking in, you know, Siu Sin's case. Like, she even said, thank you for saving my life, which I love, because she's dead, so it's not really her life, it's like her afterlife and her ability to be reincarnated that she's thanking him for.
You can even look at this movie because the last line in the film is let's start the journey.
Yeah, I've written
and
it down,
now
but
it
you
only
can
made
say
me go, fuck, we got to watch the sequels now.
We should also say, when they're in the underworld, saving her, one of the most badass things I've ever seen anyone do is when the Lord of the Black Mountain is trying to suck them their souls, and Chika, or Hero Yim, he's referred to as both, sticks like a spear, I think.
Oh yeah.
Into his foot.
That was
to
fucking
like
awesome.
anchor himself so that he can have a free hand to grab
He's just
Leslie.
a fucking badass.
Yeah. He's so cool. Like, grab him. I think I was like, that's epic.
I think one of the most charming parts of the movie for me is all the really chintzy sound effects.
Oh my God. The
Like,
soundscape is amazing.
It's great, but it all sounds like it was recorded on a tape recorder. There's just something so lo-fi about it that is really endearing. Overall, I'm so glad that we picked this movie.
It's a good time. I recommend. Anyway,
I recommend.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We'll be right back with the Warriors.
And now, an important message from a couple of old fashions with Becca and Joe.
You there! Put down that streaming device.
Wait, who said that?
Never mind me, friend. Look at yourself. Aren't you tired of endless streaming, scrolling, and mindless menu maneuvering?
Yeah, you're right.
Don't you want something special, unique, physical, tangible, and permanent?
Sure.
Almost like a friend.
Okay.
Or perhaps a family member.
I guess.
Or maybe even a lover. Well, my fine film-loving friend, that is exactly what you get when you purchase the brand spankin' new The Last Drive-In limited edition, one-of-a-kind, double feature release of Shudder's original movies, Mayhem and Suitable Flesh.
Whoa. For me?
That's right, for you and the world. You too can watch these succulent slices of cinema in gorgeous high definition, and now with our good friends Joe Bob Briggs, Darcy the Mail Girl, and the whole Last Drive-In gang, chiming in during each film with plenty of tasty trivia, captivating commentary, and lots of liquored up laughs.
Well, I'm in.
Almost.
Whoa. Hey, thanks. Well, looks like I'm watching mayhem and suitable flesh on the last drive-in with this sweet digital video disc. It's the perfect date night double feature.
Sure is, partner. This product makes even those films look good.
You betcha. Hey, wait a second.
Get your own copy on Blu-ray and DVD October 14th.
The drive-in and the date night double feature will never die.
And now, on with the show.
I am so excited to talk about this movie. Now, first off, one disclaimer. We did watch the new version, the kind of remastered, reworked version that Walter Hill did a couple years ago, that when it came out, a lot of people were pissed about it. I remember seeing it going, what the fuck did he do? Because if you don't know, the Walter Hill went back and added this kind of graphic novel comic book element to almost like Creepshow. It was very Creepshow in going from panel to panel.
From acclaimed director Walter Hill comes a never-before-seen version of the groundbreaking suspense classic. The Warriors Ultimate Director's Cut.
When the movie first came out, it was considered dark and gritty and realistic. And Walter Hill never saw it that way. He saw it as kind of his version of the Odyssey. But he was also looking at it through the lens of, comic books from the 70s. So it made sense. It's like some people say, like, okay, it was kind of like what George Lucas was doing with Star Wars. He was going back. He had the opportunity to fix it. I completely forgot that the narrator was Orson Welles.
Yeah.
That made me go, oh shit.
It's like the beginning of Disney's Hercules, where you're like, is that Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
It lends such this crazy gravitas. And
Yep.
if that was Walter Hill's intention by adding the graphic design, like comic book panels back in, it does work because
does.
it instantly evokes a sense of like storytelling.
Yep.
And I love how it goes from the legend, the panel, the like this legendary story.
Sometime in the future, you're like, in the future, 1979.
You are instantly transplanted into the sense of, oh, this is like bigger than life. Like this is arch.
It's a
heightened reality.
It's a heightened reality in the depths
Yeah.
of New York City,
So,
late 1970s.
Personally speaking, I liked the comic book panels.
No. When the movie kind of flourished on HBO and on home video, that's where I saw it at first. We all go like, don't touch what's not broken. Don't fix what's not broken. And when Walter Hill did that, I think it was just like a knee-jerk reaction. I think people who have never seen the Warriors before would go, that makes sense. That feels completely part of the world. It feels part of the storytelling. And the first time I saw it, I didn't like it. This time I saw it, I loved it. I thought it worked great. I thought it was a great way to kind of segue between scenes.
And a great way to segue from it, from a Chinese ghost story into this. It's like one journey ends and another begins. It's like once upon a time in the land of Greek mythology. It felt like a double.
I think I can already kind of say, like, before we get to the last call, like going from one movie to the other, it was the perfect A to B. Saul Yorick wrote The Warriors as a response to the romanticism that he felt was bullshit from West Side Story. So he felt, you know what, I'm going to write a story, even if it's like a fantasy, it's my version of the fantasy, it's going to be darker, it's going to be grittier. Walter Hill made that, which was an adaptation, and he was mostly known as being like a screenwriter at first, to go from that to Streets of Fire, which is almost like Chinese Ghost Story, where it is everything. Like, is it a musical? Is it an action film? Is it a Western? Is it a thriller? Is it a horror film? Yes, it's all of those. Warriors is a little more grounded than that, but Walter Hill has always been known, at least for me, as being experimental when it comes to montage and editing. In the first 10 minutes of The Warriors, which, if you don't know, is about a group named the Warriors, and they're all going to the Bronx to be part of a summit where this kind of gang kind of overlord named Cyrus is trying to bring everyone together. Not everybody wants that. Gets shot, and then everybody disperses, and someone, fucking David Patrick Kelly, the goddamn asshole Luther, he pins it on the Warriors, and then the rest of the film is everybody is going for the Warriors who live in Coney Island, and they have to go from point A to point B in one night and not die. And everybody is after them.
And if you don't know New York very well, I love that they include the kind of, in the setup with all of these, like the opening montage with the credits rolling, you see all of the gangs. They all have these amazing different uniforms that
They're
can
all
tell. Yeah.
gearing up. They're, everyone's
so
got a different
bizarre.
palette.
Yeah, the Warriors have these like shirtless, open skinned vest situation, like cowboy kind of look almost. And then you have these others they're all kind of like references or vestiges to the American mythology. Like you see baseball players with clown, like it's almost all in a joke.
There's an entire gang that looks like someone's older brother.
Yeah. And then in between that, you get these superimposed shots of the subway.
Yeah.
Which the subway becomes an incredibly important part of how they get.
It almost becomes like the river that they have to go down to be able to get from the Bronx to Coney Island.
And I had to ask Joe whether those subway, you want to think that they get it accurate and it's not like a Roland Emmerich version of New York. You were like, it's pretty solidly, like the geography makes sense.
It's pretty accurate, but also it's within that first 10 minutes, you know the setup, you know where they're going, you know the dynamic between all the different members, the 8 different members of the Warriors, you know who likes who's the power struggle.
They're leaderless now, and we get to see how they've established that dynamic between them of all of the different Warriors. Michael Beck is the one, the
Swan.
Strong, silent type.
Yeah. But if you can't get Willem Dafoe in a part, you get James Remar, who, he loves throwing the F-bomb, and I'm not talking about the one you think. He throws the other culturally insensitive F-bomb a lot.
Yes.
But James Remar's great, and that's actually the role that got him the bad guy role in 48 Hours. The use of color was really smart in that it made it feel a little otherworldly in a way. Because the thing that I remember when I first watched the movie and then I read the Odyssey, there is this, and that's why it was the first movie that came to mind when you came up with the theme, because there's something almost Greek mythology-esque about their journey from up above to down below.
But at the same time, you do recognize the anchored, which is what you mentioned before, that dichotomy that they're able to strike between having this heightened version of reality and the use of the real gritty streets of New York. I mean, it's one of the things I love about The Warrior, that it's such a timestamp of New York at this time. Like those trains that on the subway that they go on,
there was no production design added to that. Like, I know when you first saw that,
they're
were like,
disgusting. Old, how did people, it's like Gotham City.
There is I think it's in Vanity Fair, there's a great oral history of the Warriors, and they go through everything, how it was first conceived, how they shot on the streets of New York, and there was gang issues. They were dealing with, gang problems, but a lot of the gangs didn't want to be represented in the movie because they felt like they were making them into cartoons.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, I think one of the really strong points of the movie is using the Greek chorus in the use of the DJ.
Oh, I love her.
Where all you see is her lips, and she's like, "Hey, baby," I could.
And the soundtrack, the songs she picked, help with the party vibes so much.
The composer of the movie, Barry Dvorzan, technically was the first synthesized score in movies, and that score that sound reminds me of what it must have felt like to walk the streets of New York in between 1978 and 1984. As you probably know, we are big fans of the sleazecore subgenre, and this felt like the godfather of sleazecore in a way.
Some of the camera shots aren't the best, but there's such an incredibly intense, just the sheer amount of coverage they get, helps with the high voltage. There's some unbelievable fight scenes in this. Maybe they felt lesser than after A Chinese Ghost Story.
Well,
there was one that I particularly liked, just to finish my thought, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Some of the shots are kind of awkward, but they get it. They get this fight from every bit which way but south of like how to shoot it, and then it's just this intense high velocity of coverage and cutting, and it's almost like a music video.
Okay. So, and that's funny that you mentioned that, because From the Warriors to Streets of Fire, that was kind of like the advent of MTV. You know, the way that those two films evolved, the way that Walter Hill used color, music, sound, editing. What I really enjoyed about what Walter Hill did with the fight scenes, which it's funny that you talk about it being kind of awkward. If you looked at action scenes back in the day, like you look at John Woo movies, right? Good John Woo action scenes, everyone thought, besides the doves and the flying index cards flying around, everyone thought that all John Woo movies, like in terms of the action, were all slow motion. They weren't. It's all
set up to the action, and then when the action actually happens,
it's real time. You know, there's that moment in Hard Boiled where the guy, the evil guy with the Uzi, spins around and then starts shooting everybody. The spin around is in slow motion. The action part is in real time. If you look at a lot of the action movies in the 70s, and it stood out like not just that, but they do the opposite of what John Woo did, where it was intense action and then the impact shot, or the part where
a guy flips over,
is in slow motion. And I think that's an action language that does not get used anymore.
Yeah,
that's why it felt awkward. The whole time I'm going, I want to shoot an action scene where it's boom, 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 and then
Yeah, I loved it. Thematically, there's a lot of great lines about the map. Like, you know, oh, he's so stupid, he can't even read a map. And when they meet one gang, is called the Orphans, and they're the
sleaziest of the sleaze.
They're so low down, they ain't even on the map, is what they say.
They didn't even get invited to the summit.
I know. Well, because they're orphans. Yeah. They don't have any great genealogy. What's wonderful, I think, using the fact that, like, within such a small, like, literally speaking, city, if you're talking strictly about just the city of Manhattan, the island of Manhattan, and how ridiculously overtly all of these different groups and gangs are like defending each scrap of territory.
Turf.
Yeah, I think
a character in a way.
I think he is kind of speaking to a global theme of the world is getting overpopulated, and within that world, isn't it slightly absurd that we're like fighting over every single scrap of territory that we can lay our hands on?
So wait, are you almost saying that Walter Hill is Cyrus in a way? Let's eradicate the turf wars.
Exactly. Or like, you know, maybe like borders, all that stuff.
Socialism, goddammit, we need socialism.
Themes that, and in a Chinese ghost story, the borders between the land of the dead and the land of the living. All these kind of themes are basically about how we should just get along better, and how humanity's greatest strengths are when we are talking and like getting to know one another through words rather than through fists.
What's interesting that I saw on this time around, though, is that, you know, you had what you were talking about with like turf wars, right? So all of these different gangs, if you walked into their turf, you had to ask permission. Yeah. You had to, you had to stay the fuck far away from them, which makes sense.
Traveling internationally.
Yep. In a weird sort of way, Cyrus did his job.
Yeah.
He did bring everyone together, especially when we get to the end.
Yes. When
they finally get to Coney Island, they even say, like, I thought seeing the ocean was going to be the end of the journey.
Well, I think because there's a whole bunch of themes. They also touch on by introducing the character of Mercy, who's a girl they pick up during the orphans' territory of their travels. And
Deborah Van Valkenburg.
Okay. If you say so. Yeah. She and Swan develop a kind of a thing. There's even a part where he says to her, like, you go back to where you came from. You're just part of everything that's happening tonight, and it's all bad. And when they finally make it to the end of the line and they see the water and their worldview has been opened up so much by the emotional journey of like how they've matured as people
over one night,
that he even says like, maybe we should go see more of the world. And she's like, I've never seen anything. I've never been traveling, but I bet I'd love it. So there's this kind of like overarching theme of
you get the idea that she never saw the ocean before.
Breaking into our, tunnel vision bubbles of, like in social media era, I think now more than ever, echo chambers of our own negativity. It's breaking out of that we realize how small our worlds are and how small-minded we can be. And I think the point of the movie is to basically not give you're into that, because then you become, you start obsessing over these horribly little like petty traits. It
becomes minuscule. Like you're thinking myopic in a way.
Instead of globally about your fellow man.
4 square blocks is considered just an ego stroke.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And there's my last point is just that when he says to everybody right before they finally confront David Patrick Kelly,
yes,
in a rather anticlimactic final note, but when they finally confront him, he says to everybody, "Everyone packing?" And he means weapons in order to fight them. But after all of the lines, like the double entendres they've had about maps and traveling and exploring the world, him saying to his group, "Is everyone packed?" felt almost like he was saying, let's get moving, let's get out, like let's finish up this journey, like the end of a Chinese ghost story. Let's finish up this last journey and get started on our next one.
The last thing I want to bring up with Luther was that was one of the first, I guess, antagonist bad guys or whatever that didn't have a motivation. Like I was used to bad guys when I was growing up and watching these movies. I was usually there was like a modus operandi. There was a reason for them to be bad, or they had conviction. And there's a line in this movie where he just goes, "I'm just having fun. I'm having a good time." That scared the shit out of me. I was like, "That's it?" Because they're like, when you see the moment in the beginning of the film when Cyrus is talking, "Can you dig it?" and everyone's getting all roused up, and you're sitting there going, "Guy's got a good fucking point." Like this could actually be something good for the city. And then you start watching the gun getting passed along by all of these different people, which makes you a little scared to think that, like, yes, Luther is obviously the one who pulls the trigger, but there was a lot of people politically that were in cahoots with this situation. And when he shoots Cyrus, again, shot, and then in glorious slow-mo as he falls to the ground, there's a glee to it that I remember then, and even watching it now. Like David Patrick Kelly, who came from the theater, he had never acted before, and Walter Hill kind of discovered him on the stage. There was something so unhinged about him, and he's still, up until that ending, he's not trying to break apart anybody. He's not trying to bring everyone together for his own nefarious reasons. He's just doing it to fuck shit up. And that to me was like terrifying then, and I think really resonant now, that you can have people that don't really have anything more than they just want to watch the world burn. It's very, very much like in Dark Knight with the Joker.
And ironically, his actions actually start a change in mentality for everybody in this kind of, myopically minded group, sort of schismed tribalism, to actually start realizing that they need to work together a bit more in order to, actually have a better world for themselves.
And that actually it is conveyed with the group themselves. Like they finally, like you were saying, like they finally have to figure out, like, we need to work together to get home.
Yeah. I meant everyone at the end of the film realizing that it's a time,
and then when
dawning of a new
groups,
age.
The moment when the one guy just kind of parts the ways and everybody parts as well. Like they're all in a way, if there was a sequel, and I want to get to this in a second, if there was a sequel, it'd be interesting to see if like they would stay unified. Before we wrap this part up, did you know that this movie was tried? It was almost remade 3 times.
No.
First time was going to be Tony Scott was going to direct a hip hop version for MTV. Then I believe McG was going to do one.
Oh, so there's a lot of stories in Hollywood about how things almost happen and don't happen.
But you know what?
In this day and age, this double feature happened, and I loved it.
You didn't want to hear who was going to be the last one? Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'd watch that. The reason why I brought that up was this movie feels like it was begging to be a musical.
Well, they have the way they move is very dancer-like.
Every time someone jumps a turnstile, it's yeah, and they're diving over.
I was wondering if they'd actually pulled any of those actors from like chorus lines on Broadway. Could they move in a kind of lithe dancer-like kind of way? So that would be cool.
In a weird sort of way.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No.
Great fun fact. I've been wanting a dumpling ever since we watched that part of A Chinese Ghost Story.
So we
gotta wrap things up.
All right, so then it's time for the last call.
Last call!
Do you feel like this was a great double feature?
I do.
That's it.
Could have used more dumplings, but both explored the theme in similar journeyman type ways and different enough to be an exciting, different, vibe, but still both party midnight movies. I feel like we called it at the very beginning because we both already seen these films that this was going to be a good time.
But I will say that I went in a little skeptical because, look, my choice was very base. It's like, of course, the Warriors, they're going from here to there. It's one night, blah, blah, blah. Chinese Ghost Story, I forgot that there was that journey. And, for a lot of what you talked about, it felt more thematically a journey or character-based journey.
He literally travels to the underworld.
But it's a lot more complex in that journey than one night only. These guys got to go from A to B. So I was trying to piece it in my head, going like, is this really a long way back? And yes, very much confirmed, long way back. And I think we can both agree, great lineup, great first film, great second film.
Yes,
easily, because there was nothing better than to watch them all walk off, and they're standing by the Coney Island beach. We still have to go to Nathan's. Actually,
I'm so hungry. Let's go there now.
Yes, let's go now. Seeing the Wonder Wheel and everything. So there you go. A Chinese Ghost Story and The Warriors, two fantastic films on their own, but combined together, their powers co-join to a perfect day drinking date night or day drinking
it
double
is now
feature.
Dinner time, so
Yes.
we have officially ended the day, and now it is time to feed the hungry ghost. So let us know what you thought about our double feature. What movies would you have picked for the long way back? Let us know, I guess, on Instagram. DM us.
Hello, go right down below here for all of you watching. Comment on YouTube, and you can also like and subscribe.
Or
There's
comment
the graphics.
anywhere. If you listen to this as a podcast, leave a comment wherever you podcast. Or just DM us on our Instagram at ACOF Becca Joe, ACOF Becca Joe. You will supply our other Instagram DVDs here.
Wait, hold on. Wait, there we go. I don't know why I was doing your boobie there.
Well, that's where my handle is, I guess.
My
handle.
I would also say this was a great conversation when we were in Norway. A lot of people who had known the show were coming up with alternate titles. So if you have a movie that you feel would benefit from maybe being the third feature in a trifecta of movies, because we did a triple feature that day, please sound off in the comments below. We'd love to know what you have, and we'll write back and we'll all talk about movies. It'll be fucking awesome.
Yay, because movies...
No, wait, we got to talk about the theme for next week.
Oh.
Duh. Like, come on. Jeez. Like, what? It's my
What
week.
is your theme? Yes.
Oh, I'm very excited about this one. And I'm not going to tell you why, but it's one that we have a long list of themes, and I was like running on the treadmill going, what's the theme going to be? And this one just came to me. Shut up. All right. It is fan service. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited. And I might have already picked my movie immediately, or maybe I
have ideas.
Picked the movie before I even had the theme because I wanted to watch the movie again with you. Maybe.
You can't do it that way.
I can do whatever I fucking want. It's my theme this week. So, fan service is the theme for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Becca, for being my lovely partner in crime on this journey together.
Thank you. I'm hungry.
I know you are. We're going to go get some food right now.
Yay. It's dinner time. I need to ring the dinner bell.
Okay, so without further ado.
Movies.
You're going to get this someday.
You don't ever give me any actual warning. Anyway.
It's called Without Further Ado.
Okay.
Without further ado.
Movies. They're what date nights are. Oh, crap. They're the only marathon worth participating in, and they're what date nights are made for.
Not too shabby.
A little shabby.
Yeah. Let's go eat.
Yes.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.